So if you make a change on a page to something that would be in the schema, do you then need to redo that code and schema to show that change, or will it happen automatically?
It's a good question. If you have handwritten the information, like we manually input it, then yes, you will need to manually change that. But usually what it is, there's probably only going to be one little section that you're going to need to have changed based on what's on the page. Generally, it's very rare that you're going to have to redo the entire thing. It's like changing the image, and then you just get the new image URL, put that in there, boom, you're off, you're done.
Put it in the schema.
Yeah, in the schema.
Okay.
Yeah.
Copy the code and then go into the header code and change it out.
Yeah, just change out the where it says, say for example, the image, you change the header image. Now you've got to like I said, click, get the image address, then go up to the schema and just say where it says image, you just take the old one, delete it, input the new one, and then you're good.
So that's if you had a new logo.
Yeah. Header, any image that might be with that schema. There are ones that might do it dynamically, meaning that you set up the team schema and then they're just going to, and then it knows that these pages have the team members and it'll just grab that automatically and then will change it automatically as you update it. There are plugins that do that. I've found them mostly to be pretty lackluster. I'll be honest. They're not my favorite. The ones that do automatic schema outside of ones that do e-commerce, those ones are usually actually pretty good. But general ones for like local businesses, stuff like that, I found them to be.
You do want to be careful with how many plugins you have on your site, right? Because more plugins will weigh you down and cause speed issues, and sometimes they'll react with one another. And so there's plugins you can get. I have a Christmas Buy plugin that I use at Christmas, and it makes little reindeer go across the screen. I only use it at Christmas, so I turn it off, deactivate it, and that helps. But does everybody feel a little overwhelmed with this?
It's a lot.
No, it wasn't like the other class that I taught there. So why don't we try, Michelle, you put your hand up first.
When is the right time to do the schema? So should I attempt to start doing it on our current site, knowing there's a new site coming and there's going to be a lot of redirects? And then would I redo it on the new site, or because of limits of time, should I just do it on the new site once it's launched?
I would do it, especially the local business one is probably the best one for you. Yours is going to be a little more complicated because you've got 2 physical addresses. So that one, something you're going to
4 physical addresses with the 4 Google My Businesses.
Yes. So you want it specific to each one with the Google My Business. You're also going to want it to, for the New West or the Victoria campuses, you're going to want to have the URL go to that specific page when you put the schema in, and then have the schema on that page, as well as that's the link that you're going to put in your Google Business profile.
Oh, so you're saying because they have a Google Business profile for the Victoria campus, that's going to link to the Victoria page.
Yeah. You want to deep link that, not just to the like college massage. You want it to go to the college massage /location/Victoria. I think that's the URL. That one is the one you want it to connect to. And then that page is where you're going to put the schema for the Victoria.
Yeah.
Okay. So when it comes to like on the new website where we have both campuses information on one page, for schema, it's probably going to be better if we break it into 2 separate pages, one for each campus.
Yeah. And even multiple reasons why is we're saying with the pages, like the Google Business profile should be linking to each individual campus because there's probably characteristics about each. Then the other thing that I would say that just came to mind is what you would also have is probably an organization one for college and massage. And that's going to be the parent company that runs both campuses, because it's technically a parent company. And then that one, you'll have a founder, stuff like that. And then you'll have like departments, and those departments will be like the 4 subheadings. When you do the markup generator, you'll notice that it says like departments. So
Yeah.
it gives you that option as well. It looks super intimidating the first time, but once you get going, it's a lot of copy and paste. I'll be honest. It's
That's good.
pretty straightforward. Yours is just a little more complex. The more I like pulled the thread, it was like, oh yeah, actually, like compared yours to like Pages for Candace, where it's one specific location with one founder. That's just, it's always going to be simpler, and no matter what we do. Don't worry, Michelle. It, like I said, it's going to be a lot of copying and pasting off the Google
Yeah.
business profiles, and then it's just about making sure that they're on the right targeted pages and then testing it.
Yeah.
It's going to
And then
be.
once you implement it, how long does it take for you to see a change in how you rank?
Again, this is going back to us dealing with the great Google gods, and we do things, and to say that there's going to be a perfect corollary it's just not the way that this works.
Got it.
It's a little more abstract in how the Google takes all these little changes that you make and then will increase your ranking. Sometimes, like I've heard of stories where they had all this content, but it wasn't linking properly internally, and then they did that, and boom, hockey stick growth. Most of the time, it's not going to be like that, and most of the time, it's going to be little slow over time, and you're seeing it as a trend line, like that. Oh, we were getting 100 visitors a day to the website before, now we're getting 200. You'll just see a little bump in the traffic or something like that, and it's trends over time that is how you're really going to see it.
Got it. Thanks. Thank you.
Yeah.
One comment, something I noticed when you're looking at Paige's website, it had her old business address. I don't know if that
Yeah,
is a
that
problem.
caught my attention as well.
Okay.
Yeah, we got to fix that part. And also there was like both addresses were in there, and then one of them had the telephone, but the other one didn't. So there was a couple of things on how things were rendering that it definitely.
Oh, we must have set that up several years ago,
It's easily a couple of years ago.
because there's been a lot of change in the last.
Yeah. Again, and because generally it's a kind of set it and forget it situation most of the time, because like most brick and mortar companies are like not changing their hours that much, not changing their name that much, not changing location that much, phone number, all that good stuff is all. It's very infrequent that you would need to like completely redo parts of it. Yeah. But yeah, my suspicion actually, now that I thought about it with Pages, is it's something to do with Squarespace, because the schema that was in the back end had the telephone, but then when we looked at it on the tester, it didn't have the telephone in one of them, but it did have it in the other. So that would be my guess. That's where the issue is. It's something to do with the caching that they've got, and they screwed it up. Not unheard of.
And we're gonna practice this next week. So each year you're gonna try it. Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, you are. Because it's more intimidating maybe when you see it versus when you do it, because it's literally copy paste test.
Yeah. Most of the tool that I had, the schema generator or the markup generator, is honestly, it abstracts away all kinds of the problems. So you don't even think about, oh, did I close this properly? Because our team has had to manually write some of this stuff for some of the weird obscure ones, like tourist vacations, and so we had to manually write out the schema, and boy howdy were there a lot of issues with doing that. You can screw that up very easily. So yeah, using a generator, you're laughing. But also, to circle back, now that I think about it, Michelle, basically the local business ones are low hanging fruit. They're easy to do, to just get those out and get them on the page. Ones about like individuals or individual services, which are all things you can put schema on, that is stuff you can get to, but it is middle priority, I would say. There's a couple of lot higher priority things, like the writing new page titles, meta descriptions, keyword mapping. That's more fundamental stuff I would focus on. I just knock out because you saw just in this class that I could do the local business schema. And even if you spent an hour or two on it, it's honestly pretty low hanging fruit for you to do. And then you're just improving your visibility to Google.
And then you just put that on like on the home pages and the location pages, the about us pages.
Yeah, you would put that on for your local business, you would go to the individual, because it's a multi-site. So you would go to the Victoria site, put it on theirs, because then it would be anything related to the Victoria location can have their local business. And then the same would be true for the New West. And then, it's just, that's the way I would implement it.
Okay.
And then as you get those broken out team member pages, then that's an opportunity there for each person to just go name, photo, what they do there, all that good stuff.
And then would I be putting it like with the local business on the admissions pages as well and the clinic pages, just under a different service?
It depends. I'd have to see the URL. That would be the big one, because if it's generalizable to either campus, then I wouldn't have that show up on theirs. But if it's specific to admissions for Victoria, then I'd be happy to have a local business one there. As long as it's specific to that campus with that physical address, because that's the marker that's letting you know which ones to put it on, is it wants to be tied to that physical address, because Google is going to use that address and those geolocations for people who type in near me. That's how Google does it, is as soon as you type in Victoria or near me or Gig Harbor, any of those, that's instantly triggers a local search. And what they're doing is finding, okay, who has marker A of whatever the first part of that sentence was, like tree service near me, and the second part, which is going to be the near me. And then they're going to go, okay, who does tree service in Duncan? And then they match those two things together based on my location. They put those two together, and then that's how they spit this out. So that's what you're trying to aim for, is you want it to be tied to that physical location, so that if someone's like RMT training Victoria, that they don't need to see the New West campus. There's a Victoria campus closer to them, so then that one shows up.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, it's local SEO is like its own thing. Yeah, and this schema, it's also becoming very popular as well. Oh, one other type now, since we are talking about schema, another fun one is FAQs have their own special schema. So if you have an FAQ page,
now what if you put FAQs on a page?
Then you can put schemas. So you can overdo it with FAQ schema, and John Mueller of Google said to be fair, don't overdo it. But if you have a specific page or a specific product, and there's questions that people always ask about my shoes, do they come in different materials? And then my answer to this, no, they only are cotton. I don't know what shoes are made out of. That would be a FAQ specific to that page, and it's unique to that page itself. So again, when people are looking up in bits of information, then that will mean that those questions are getting answered there. So example of this is this one. So I typed in what is SEO, and so Neil Patel has done FAQ schema on this page, because the reason why this is here and no one else has it, it's because he's done FAQ schema. So now on Google, you can take up more real estate by answering people's sub questions related to the field. And so this is going to be schema that's in the head code. And so what Google does is that, now that I've been looking for the what is SEO, and it's his complete guide. And then also on that has some sub questions of what's the most important part of SEO marketing. And then he answers the question. And again, you would put that on this page. There might be generalizable ones to the business overall, FAQs. Do you offer 24 hours emergency service as a plumber? So the schema for a whole FAQ page or each question. So it's going to be each question, because the way the schema works is it says question 1, then it's question 1. answer one, and then you put the answer to it, and then you could just watch, rinse, repeat for however many questions are on the page. And you want it to, again, just like the Google Business Profile, you want that to match up. Like the closer that they're identical to each other, the better, because machines are very stupid. You need to understand this. If one letter's off, they break down. They're not very smart at that part. So the more that it's just a copy and paste, the better it's going to be. Does that answer your question, Karen?
Yes, thank you very much.
Oh, okay. Okay. So lots of anticipation there. I was like, I hope so.
Sorry.
Yeah, no worries. It's all good. So I'm going to show you what the product schema looks like in the wild website. This should work, and there shouldn't be any errors. Okay, so we've got an organization. This one's Delica Wash Pip. And then they have a product. So this product, we have no errors, no warnings. And so it's got things like the price, its availability, what type of currency, what's the URL of this page, or even what's the URL of this offer. It's also got description, image, the URL, and the name of the product, and the fact that it's a product itself. I bet if we take this same bit and we go to the rich results test, we run that there. And then there's a third place that you will be notified if there's errors, and that's Search Console, which.
And notice how you're actually on Search Console when you're doing that rich test result?
Yeah, they've moved it into, because so we've got a product, it's got some warnings, 6 of them. Very common that you're going to have a ton of warnings on your product. It's a SKU, you have no GTIN.
This is what stopped me from doing Merchant Center for ads years back, because you needed GTN. It was just a mess of figuring it out. And I was very new. So I now always hate them. And they're just like tracking numbers for your SKUs of products.
Yeah, they're not even that critical per se, but where are just a better built basement. So these guys used a plugin, and because that, they've generated all these extra ones. So under enhancements, you're going to have anything that shows up here, that's done with schema. And this will also tell you.
So this is where you're going to see breadcrumbs naturally. You're going to see what featured snippets.
Yeah.
Right.
Ooh. Yes. So this one, I'm already seeing some red here, and it's current. So not good. We want to fix that. And then let's see the video. So this one's new. It's the new videos that are showing up.
Did you see that? Google said good job, just so you know.
Yes. All right. So they had one valid one show up in May. That's interesting. We also got job posting. So they have a valid job posting, but it's missing a couple things. So when it's a valid to, what's the salary, base salary, and then what currency does that come in? Again, they're warnings. They're not mission critical, but this will also tell you a lot of information about, hey, we need to fix these things. And then you could start to make an order of things to fix. Definitely anything that has an error is it's the most important, because Google hates broken things.
So when we do our audits and our strategies, we definitely look through Google Search Console to see what we can see. And then we would make a decision on what are the most important things to work on for the site's project.
And again, these things are all stacking on top of each other to make this work. The mapping out your schema is almost like how we talked about internal linking. And you're finding all these pages that all connect together, because you're going to have the person works for this local business. So what does that local business schema have? Okay, that local business schema has all this information, and it was founded by this person. And then in their person one, they can say that they founded this local business, and they all start to tie together into web that has your organization or your local business at the center.
Yeah. Just fun. Michelle, are you going to be on your new website? Nice.
Yeah.
I will do.
Nice. That's good. Because
Yeah, everyone is going to be, all the permanent staff.
that's great. And then you can actually do this. So you're not going to need a developer. And then you got people here who will check it with you. Go test a couple pages. So you can just go take the URL and click on the validator, that link, and you can put a URL in there and just test it for a page you want to do. And then come to class and we'll be like, oh, let's do that.
Yeah. And or you can also check in the Search Console because they do use the rich. Pip was right to point out of the rich snippet was underneath search.google.com. And it's because that it's a tool that they're tapping into the API for to then generate that information in Search Console. So it's its own little tool, similar to how PageSpeed Insights has a bunch of connects to this here as well, because it has the core vitals.
So naturally you'll get different enhancements, the simple ones, but where you're going to see where's the testing page experience?
It's not inside of,
They removed
there's no
it.
direct connection in here. It's just one.
There is, I think it's in the legacy web tools, but it looks just like Search Console. When you hit the back button, it takes you into Search Console. Right when you do the page speed test, which is the, hold on. So have any of you gone and put a URL in here to inspect in Google Search Console?
Hey, this isn't a Search Console class. This is a schema class.
It's a Search Console class. Because it's originally, that's where we did the testing. But know that marketing is very dynamic and ever changing. And there's many changes that have come down the pike recently for lots of things. There was just an algorithm update. Take a look in there every couple days and see how the traffic's trending. Yeah. Because what happens with a core update is you're either on the right side of it or the wrong side of it. And so
generally, if you follow anything we're doing here, you're going to be on the right side of the update, because we're not teaching you guys how to do any mischievous black hat or gray hat SEO, which is usually 90% of the time when someone gets dinged. Let's just say it's not unwarranted when they lose their traffic. I'm sure there are some cases where it came out of surprise, like a website, what was it, Dr. Axe, they got just annihilated by the EAT because they did write a bunch of stuff on medical stuff, but there's no one there that was a doctor. And so they got dinged. And so basically,
when was the last test? In May, right?
Yeah.
So check this out. This is the thing you'll notice. You're looking at a different page. So if you look, May 20th, we're here around May 20th, there was an update. And so our impressions started going up. And then if you look, our clicks kind of started to go up, but it's more jagged. So it's easier to see through impressions because you're seeing like the trend of Google saying, oh, your site is a little bit more valid. So you'll start to see things like that of you showing up for more impressions. So now we're here. So I'm going to be watching the next week or two to see what happens, to see if we take a dip down. And then if you take a little dip down, you'll probably start researching, oh, what's going on? Why have I been affected, right? Is it all schools, or is it all realtors, or is it just my Shopify store? So lots of things to do, to look at.
Oh, and one other one for you, Michelle, that's going to be exciting. And Pip, you and I are going to look at it as well. There's a new schema that dropped because they do create new ones. And this one is for courses. So if you teach people, there's one for courses. So probably for your admissions page or how to get like anything about the course. It's brand new. So I don't know very much about it at the moment, but I did see the announcement.
Yeah. So we'll pay attention to that.
Yeah, 100%.